there, internet friends, subscribers, watchers, looky-loos, people who are like, how the hell did I start watching this video? Where did this lady come from? All of you, welcome. Glad to have you back. So what am I doing today? It is Memorial Day weekend. It is, what is it? Sunday. And I started this yesterday, pretty hardcore. Started another, well, you can see who's in the background. I should have named, we're going to name her Wendy. Yeah, Wendy the scaffolding, because it's a W-E-N, Wen scaffolding. All right, so I just named her. And there's Henry. Henry and Wendy are helping me start to paint this room. I've been calling it the pink room in my head since I moved in, even though it was not pink. But I have found evidence at one point that it was pink. But if I turn myself around, you will see that it is now becoming pink once again. So here's the front. I'm sitting in the little round window seat in the front of the front bedroom. And as you can see behind me, I have this wall painted pink already. How I got here? Well, watch the old videos, you know how I got here. But I have been in my head calling this the pink bedroom since the day I moved in, even though it was yellow. And I just knew instinctively that I was going to paint this room pink. I did find some paint chips in the walls when I was patching walls yesterday that indicated at one point it was pink. So I guess I wasn't the first person to think it was pink. But why I started that this weekend is because the other day I went down a little rabbit hole on the internet, as one does, and found myself on a fabric website, as I often do. And they were having a 15% off everything on the site for Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what they have. Now, I fell in love with a bunch of fabrics on this website, and they were $400 a yard, and even at 15% off, not in my budget. So I kept looking, and then I found a fabric for $4 a yard, and then you get to take 15% off of that. I was like, yes, and they had like, I don't know, a ton of it, because quite often when you find something really cheap, they're like, oh, we got 10 yards. And I needed approximately, I think I ended up ordering 22 yards, because I want to do soft draperies in this window seat area, and I have the tall, big window that goes to the floor over here, and so I want floor length draperies for that. So I ordered the fabric, and then I'm like, well, shoot, if the fabric comes, I want to make the draperies and put them up, but I can't make the draperies and put them up until the room is painted. Hence, I am now painting the room, and it's going along pretty well. I'll show you where I'm at so far. Yeah, I'm finally going to have my little pink princess cottage rose, very feminine room. So let me show you what we've been doing. I made an executive decision. You'll have to tell me what you think. Of course, the lighting's kind of bad. So I have all of those little doodads, those shelves that I don't want to move out in the hallway. I don't, whatever. So what I decided to do was to paint this corner fully. And I have a little more trim because I didn't get the ladder over here. But get this all painted so I can move them over here and then not have to move them again until I was all done. So that's one coat of the pink. Again, lighting kind of not great. I'm not going to go get my light kit out just for this and take up space. But you can also see that I'm doing something a little different with the trim. I have 2 or 3 or 2.5 gallons of this green, springy green from the middle bedroom left over because I overbought. And I didn't really want another room in this color, although you never say never. And so I decided I really like, it's kind of a European or British look to have colored painted trim. So that's what I decided to do. It's not ideal because it's an eggshell finish as opposed to like a semi-gloss. But in here, it's not, it's not a kid's room. It's not it's not going to get a lot of wear and tear. So I think it'll be fine. We'll see. We'll see how it wears. But there's 2 coats of the green on that baseboard, not on that trim on the door yet. I haven't gotten that one yet. And I started the window over here. Oh, you really can't see because of the light. And there's only one one coat of pink rolled on here, so it's a little streaky. Now, the pink, let me come turn around. I didn't choose the pink. Pink chose me. My friend Bill, who has shown up a few times in videos, he had this 5-gallon bucket, about over half full or about half full of this pink paint that he had used in his house. And he didn't use it quite, I think he mixed it to lighten it up because the room that I know is this shade seems way lighter than this, but I don't know. And I'm like, he's like, you want that pink paint? I'm not going to use it. And I'm like, right now, free paint is the best color. Whatever color it was, I was going to paint this room that color, but it happened to be pink, so it was perfect. I may trade him some of the green paint, but it's going to need 2 coats, but it's going on very nice. And it might be a little more Mary Kay Barbie pink than I would have bought if I had gone and had it mixed for myself. But I think once I get the draperies in here, and I think I'm going to get a different rug than the rug I had in here. And, well, I'll show you how I'm going to do it all when I get it done. How about that? But I'm going to rearrange the furniture a little bit. I've moved some things out. I moved well, obviously that corner is empty, so I moved the bookshelves out. I think they're going to stay out. I don't really like where I don't know. Nothing is permanent in this house at this point. I really want to get a bed of some kind in here, a real true guest bed, either a day bed or a bed, depending on what I find at Facebook Marketplace or something like that. The last thing I need her for is to cut in over in that corner where the cube shelves are, and they have to move first. And I need to get the tall ladder and deal with my fear of heights and ladders. Actually, my fear of heights is getting better, but my ladders, you know how it is if you've watched anything on this, to get the cutting in around the top of the window seat area, because the scaffolding won't get in there because the window seats, I can't get close enough to safely lean over there. And I made an executive decision not to paint this ceiling. It's much like ceilings in some of the other rooms I chose not to paint. Not in that bad a condition. I know it would have looked great, but when I realized how much trim in this room, considering the 5 windows in the window seat and the window seat, and there's 1, 2, 4 doors and trims and transom trims and the tall window and all the baseboards and all the things, I decided that if I had to paint all of that, which I did, even if I didn't paint it green, I was going to paint it white. It needed to be painted. That's going to do me. That's going to be done. So, no ceiling. We'll see what happens there. It doesn't look bad, says me. But, okay, I'm going to get cracking on, get working on this, and I will see if I feel like giving you any time lapse. Maybe. You've seen me paint before. It's not that exciting. It's the same thing, different color. So, and I got to get cracking because I have a picnic to go to later, and tomorrow I'm going to spend the day at the beach. The beach, you say? Yes. Friend and I are going for a little Alabama road trip, and we're going to hit Mobile Beach, Dauphin Island. So if I don't get too distracted by being at the beach, I'll take you along and show you a little bit of our day at the beach. Ta-ta. So the front room needs a name. The pink room painting project is moving along. As you can see, I'm not dressed for painting today. I'm a little bit more cleaned up than you quite often see me. So today I'm not, unless when I get home I have time, I'm going to put some more paint, some more layers on here. But I just wanted to pop in real quick and give you a little bit of an update and show you where we're at on this project. And I have to say, oh, I love it. So over my shoulder, you can see just a little peek, maybe a little shoulder action there. Okay, turn the camera around. show you where we're at. Here we are. This room is so tall that I can't even on wide angle really get it all in. But that's the door that goes out to the hallway right by the front door with the transom. Now, I've only got one coat of paint on the door, so it's very streaky and blotchy. So don't judge me. If you look at the trim on the right side of the door up to just past the hinge, that has 2 coats on it, so it gives you a little bit better idea of what it'll ultimately look like. The trim over there all has 2 coats on it. Look at the pink. And it's a pale pink. It's not too bubblegum, which I like. It has a tint of lavender to it, so as you can imagine, I love that. And it changes throughout the day, which is pretty normal for any paint in any room, right? And the only thing in the window seat area I have painted is the bottoms of the window seats. Partly because the cats come in here and look at the windows, and I didn't want little green kitty cat footprints until I was ready to block this off. So I'm going to do all the trim around the windows, but I'm not going to do the window sashes, the actual part that goes around the window glass. Well, I'm going to paint it, but I'm going to paint it white. Everything else is going to be green. Same with the big window. It's kind of being hid by the scaffolding right now. But I have done 2 coats on that trim, but the windows haven't been painted yet. So I'm going to take you back over here to the fireplace. Can't wait till this is finished because it's going to look amazing. I fell in love with the tile on this fireplace. Almost maybe more than I did the tile in the blue room. But this shade of green really brings it out because that almost looked black. It's dark, almost black navy with green. And then when you look down here now, this tile is in rough shape, but it's serviceable. But the lighter squares are, I won't say marbly, but they have a light green glaze on them, and I couldn't have picked a better shade of green to bring that out. I have scrubbed and steamed and scrubbed the tile, and I can't get the sooty burn marks off it, so it is what it is. But once I get a second coat on here, maybe even a third, it's going to look amazing. So that is today's little update. I have the pleasure of going downtown, and I'm going to be working at the bookstore today. So the Selma Broad Street Books, a friend of mine owns it, and he has to be out of town. So I'm going to be shop sitting for him today and Saturday. So that's going to be fun. I love books. I love helping friends. And it gives me a little time for my messed up finger to rest because it was getting really sore after a couple days of painting. So that's where we're at. I am absolutely in love with this room. I'm even a little disappointed that it's not my room. Well, they're all my room, right? But that it's not my main room. It has its drawbacks. It's a little small. There's no place to store my clothes. But it's such a pretty room. It is everything I had imagined and a little bit more. I bought those prints up there last fall or something at one of the flea markets, or Goodwill, I think even. I think that was a Goodwill find. Didn't know where I was going to put them, and they look perfect with this bedding. And this bedding came with the bed. So let me tell you about the bed. So this gorgeous solid brass bed and box spring and mattress and bedding came from Facebook Marketplace for $250. It's not a handmade quilt, but I'm not picky. It looks perfect in the room. And it's solid. This is not some cheap aluminum tubing knockoff. Both the headboard and the footboard are pretty solid, pretty hefty to carry around. And so Bill and I drove up over to Prattville Sunday and picked it up. And it's gorgeous. It has a tag label on it, and I Googled the company of the label. Couldn't find the exact same bed, but comparable beds are in the $2,000 range. It has a Serta Perfect Sleeper Supreme mattress on it. It was in an elderly, I know this sounds like a little old lady only drove it on Sunday, but it literally was in an elderly couple's guest bedroom. The mattress looks brand new. You would never know. And it is exactly what this space needed. Exactly. Now I'm going to share another little treasure with you. See this beautiful, and ignore the little stain. I've been working on getting the stain out and I can't get it out. This means it's been loved. But this gorgeous hand knit laced round tablecloth. This was a gift, I believe a wedding gift. Probably didn't come on my exact wedding, but you know how that goes. It's a gift from my sister, my elder sister. She made this. She knit this tiny little, see how tiny the threads are and how beautiful and intricate the lace is. She knit this for me as a gift 30 some odd years ago. And I did have it on my, displayed in my house back in the 90s. And then I had children and animals, and I didn't want it to get ruined. So it's been in my cedar chest ever since. And I finally found the perfect room and the perfect place for it. Now the teacup, well, it's actually not a teacup. Technically, it's a punch cup. And then the sign came from a friend of mine when we did a play together, a show together in Illinois. And this was a line my character had to say. And then my character was in too much hot water and lost her shit and threw her mama's punch cup across the room and broke it. It was quite a dramatic scene. And so that was a gift from my friend who was also in the show with me, and from the director and the cast. Love it, love it, love it. I just love filling my rooms with things that mean something. If I can't find them at Facebook Marketplace or a thrift store, then, and even the things I find at thrift stores, they evoke an emotion in me. They evoke a memory for me, that kind of thing. And otherwise, I put up things that mean something to me, like that baby quilt. Let me show you some of the details on that. This is just half of the baby quilt, but you can see it is little Scotty dogs and little kitty cats. And all of the Scotty dogs are either checks or plaids because they're Scottish, right? And then the cats are calico cats. There's an occasional solid cat, and there is a striped cat, i.e. a tiger cat, on the other side. And my mother, who is now 88 years old, made this for my oldest daughter, who was going to be 30 soon, as a baby gift. You can see the pretty heart, interlocking heart quilting. This is all quilted by hand, not machine quilted. It was machine pieced and well, it was probably hand appliqued, knowing my mother. And it is a treasure. It also has a few probably spit up stains or something on it that I spent the better part of today trying to get out, but alas, no glory there. They're a lot lighter than they were, so I'm gonna take that. But also some of these fabrics have memory and have meaning to me. This little pastel plaid was a piece of fabric from a little maternity romper that I made and wore throughout my pregnancy for her. This, I can get where it's not in shadow. This little cat with the purple and white stripes, that purple and white stripe was from a dress I made probably 1984, 83 in high school. And my mom had that scrap of fabric left. And some of these other ones are familiar to me. I couldn't tell you what house dress or quilt or what have you, apron they may have come from, but they're all very special. And this quilt's very special. So I am going to hang it above there as the kind of centerpiece of the room. This is a self-portrait my youngest daughter did, and she's also one of my creative muses. So having her watching me as I work is going to be an inspiration as well. And she's actually it's one of those portraits, I think, that no matter where you stand in the room, it looks like she's looking at you. Maybe not. That's my next project, is to start getting into that big roll of fabric. There's wrapped inside the roll of fabric is the roll of lining. So these are going to be lined curtains. Hopefully that will help with a little energy efficiency and just make them hang. I mean, lined curtains are so, I regret not lining the curtains in the green room every day, and figure at some point I'll run out of projects and it'll be time to wash them anyway. So I'll take them down, I'll line them. It won't be as easy to line them now that they're already made, but I can figure something out and then clean them and put them back up. So I hope you liked this room as much as I did. I do. It's just everything. It's just everything I've wanted in this room. And a little, like I said, a little bit more. The green trim was just kind of a inspiration that I took from a few different places. A couple different YouTubers I watch have colored painted trim, and it's just perfect. I hate to toot my own horn, but I'm tooting my horn. It's perfect. All right, it's hot in here though, so I'm gonna go sit in front of the fan.